Hello everyone and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews Gaming Friday. I'm Gary.
And I'm Geoff.
And I'm very excited to be presenting to you our thoughts and feelings on the Witcher franchise whilst currently playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And I thought about playing the game from the beginning just to show the intro, but this is cutting into my game time. I gotta be playing The Witcher 3. I can't have a social life, I can't work, I can't edit, I can't review films, I can't do Alien Isolation. All I gotta do is play The Witcher 3.
Yeah, this is one of those time eaters, isn't it? It's going to be, what, a good few hundred hours to complete this, do you reckon?
I think I'm gonna
Everything
sink.
in it?
I think I'm gonna sink even more hours into this, probably double the amount of hours into this than I did Dragon Age Inquisition, which was my game of the year last year.
Yeah.
And I can easily see The Witcher 3 being my game of the year this year. It's pretty much one of the only games I'm excited about this year. And it's in my hands. It's finally arrived after being delayed and delayed and delayed.
So this Witcher 3 is like a first journey for CD Projekt into an open world RPG, isn't it? This is like a massive free roam map, isn't it?
Well, the second game had elements of open worldness, but it was still pretty confined in its space.
Okay, so there's still kind of it was like a sandbox world, but it wasn't open world.
Correct, yes.
And I think the same went for Witcher 1, didn't it? Which was like on PC, but that was pretty much the same sort of concept as Witcher 2, except it was just a bit more rough around the edges and the combat's horrible.
Yeah, I have to say I never played the first Witcher game. Mm-hmm. I was introduced to the Witcher universe in the second game.
Yeah, so like a brief little history of The Witcher. It's sort of Witcher 1 was what, 2007?
That's right. Yep.
I've bought all three of these. I've got to say I haven't played any of the Witchers except for The Witcher 1. Knowing the Witcher's reputation, I wanted to really get to know the whole world, and I've started out playing the first one, and the combat is horrible, but like you can see everything's there, like all the kind of basics are there for the Witcher story, and it's already got me intrigued with the characters. But then
well, it's good to be said that the first game is based on a series of books.
Right.
And they're all Polish books. Now I actually tried to get into the books, but there was they translated them in different orders and released them at different times, so it was very difficult to get all of the books in the right chronological order anywhere, because they were also translated.
What were they translated from?
From Polish.
Okay.
And there was also, I think back in 2001, around that time, I think there was a movie made, which was actually a two-part of a TV series, which was then put together as a film. And then I think there was a 12 or 13 episode TV series that came after the events in that film.
Right, okay.
But they fucked it up.
It was real bad.
It was really bad. They kind of got the look, sort of.
Right.
But the acting was bad, the sets were bad, and they changed so much of the story and of the source material that it just no longer really felt like The Witcher. It was bad. It was bad, and that's why it's not really been heard of.
And so that was pretty much ignored when it came out in the early noughties. We had 2007 Witcher 1 the game, which was kind of a sleeper hit, wasn't it? A bit of a cult hit on the PC.
It was indeed, yeah.
And then we had 2011 Witcher 2 came out, and it was like, bam, this is the best RPG ever made. And it's like, it got a real reputation for having proper adult content, like uncompromising storyline, and
it felt like a game for a really mature audience,
like really well polished, wasn't it? It was a really nice
it
game.
Came out before Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Yeah,
but I'd not played The Witcher 2 then. I was excited for Elder Scrolls. That was the game for me.
Yeah,
and I played that, must have sunk maybe 200 hours into Skyrim, and then I played The Witcher 2 and never played an Elder Scrolls game since. It just made The Witcher made everything apparent that all the other games didn't have, and that's a strong protagonist character that has a voice, has opinions and feelings that you can adjust, but the way that it's delivered and the way that it's presented to you, I care about the characters in these small villages and towns. I couldn't care less about the characters in Elder Scrolls because they were all the same.
Yeah,
They were all the same. It just felt lifeless.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not copping out, going, "Oh, be whoever you want to be," is it? It's like, no, you're Geralt, this character, a Witcher.
Geralt. Yeah.
Geralt
of Rivia.
Yeah,
the White Wolf.
Yeah, and he is. That's it. You are role playing his character, and you get an element of choice, like a kind of, a slight variation in the way that he talks to people and the decisions he makes. But ultimately, it's still within the confines of this character, isn't it? It's not trying to be Skyrim, where it's like, oh, be anybody who you want to be and have any skills you want to get.
It just becomes very interchangeable, really, and you're just left with with your own creation, and that's what some people want and need.
But so my number 2 and Witcher 3, I think it looks pretty much the same. The combat is sweet in Witcher 3, and it's got like a really good action combat element to it, doesn't it?
The Witcher 3's combat system is quite spectacular, and at the same time,
kind of mixing magic and sword play and all that sort of stuff. You can use the controller to bang everything out like in kind of combos fluidly.
It does sometimes have like what I call the Arkham sort of fighting style.
Yeah.
But there's no pop-ups telling you when to block. You've got to parry when you see the enemy's attack. Right. Usually you want to parry humans, but if it's monsters, you want to dodge and roll out of the way.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Just like the previous Witcher games, you have all of your Witcher signs, which I can quickly show you now if I can bring up the menu. So yeah, we've got Yarden, Quinn, Igni, Axie, and Ard. So you got your telekinetic, you got one to influence minds, you can deal fire, make a protective shield, or a magical trap.
Yeah.
I also currently have a torch, crossbows, and my bombs. I've got a couple of other items which I'm hiding in the inventory. I'll let people discover specific items and things in the game as they go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, not too many spoilers, but just see what it runs like, how it functions.
Now, I've got to say, in terms of the story, this is a good standalone game as well. I've said that about every Witcher game, is that each one is his own story. You don't really need to have played any of the others to know what's going on. You don't, because the game sets everything up for you in the opening.
Yeah.
Within the first hour, you've got a good feel of who you are, what you're doing, and you can sink as much time as you want into looking through the glossary to read about the characters and the events that took place before this. But the game itself, its ambience, its atmosphere, it sets everything up for you for it to be a standalone game.
It seems implicit in that, though, that you're going to get an extra richness if you have played the previous games.
Definitely, because the characters are so memorable, they're so in-depth, and so many things happen to them that you're invested in them. So sticking with the characters throughout them all is fantastic. When you've played the games and then you read the books, you find out so much more. And the other thing is that when you replay, like The Witcher 1, Witcher 2, and perhaps Witcher 3, is that the choices that you make will completely shape the universe and the world that you're in. So, and it won't always be apparent straight away what your choices' outcomes are going to be. The games makers are very particular when they knew that you could just make a choice, then load it back up and then make the other choice and see the outcome almost straight away. They don't like that. So you'll make a choice and then 20, 30, 60 hours later, those choices will come back to haunt you.
Ooh.
And there's no way you can go, oh, I'll just load in my save. And it's way too late.
So they've engineered the game design to make your choice, force your choices to stick somewhat.
That's right.
But I mean, like, it's very morally grey, isn't it? He tends to, what's one of the key things about this is a very adult themed, very kind of morally grey.
That's right. There is no, I mean, often or not, you're going to be choosing between what you think is the lesser evil.
Yeah.
Because it is all
what
areas of grey.
What flavour do you want to be?
Exactly.
Or do you want someone else to be?
Just a word to the wise as well, is that most of the people in this game are not very nice or very pleasant. Most people are hiding something horrible.
But the combat system is like real fluid. But if you replay 1, and endure the combat system. The reason I'm doing it is this game does like a Mass Effect 3 trick, doesn't it? You can get your save game and it will carry over. When you load up Witcher 2, it will say, do you have a Witcher 1 save?
I believe on the
and
PC,
all your choices come through.
that will be the case.
Yeah, so if you've got all three of these on PC, like you can have a portable save between 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, just like on Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And bring forward all the decisions you've made and all the influences of the previous world into the next one, which is quite cool. So I mean that's why I bought all three.
Yeah.
And I've gone, right, okay, so I'm going to start right from the beginning, and I want to see the whole story of Geralt and see, like, you know, all the characters that surround him. But
and there's a lot of important characters around him throughout those other games that will pop in and out in the story. So of course.
But if you can't stomach this horrible combat of 1, they do a Geralt's got amnesia trick for 2, don't they? When 2 starts.
So again,
you
it's a
kind
perfect...
of don't need to have played the first one to play the second one. And then they give you what, like a kind of, you can kind of make some basic choices, can you?
There's a sequence in this game where Geralt is sat at a table and he's being shaved, and they are asking him questions about his version of events from the previous Witcher games. And so you just get to make those choices within the game, so it's almost seamless. And if you've got no experience as to what happened, you just make up your own answers, and that will literally, from those answers, shape the universe around you. So it's actually put in there quite nicely. It's not, you know, a block thing at the beginning. It's like, make this choice, then this choice, then this choice. It only really needs like 3 of the major things that have happened to carry it on forwards.
Right, okay. So it's only a few threads from each game.
That's right, because the without going into too big a spoiler, the end of the second game is so monumental in the way that things are reshaped that most of the things that you've done will probably already have had that outcome by the end of the second story.
Right. Okay.
So that there's not many stories to pick up in the third one. And I'll also say that from what I've read of the books, the second Witcher game doesn't really focus too much on the lore of the books. It has everything to do with the lore of the books, just not of the main story. Also, the Witcher stories were originally just short stories, a collection of short stories, before they became The Witcher as we know today.
Right, okay. All in Polish originally.
Yes.
So is this kind of modelled on a medieval Poland, do you think, this kind of area? You
definitely get, you know, the European vibe from the accents and from some of the characters and some of the architecture, but it is just it's its own blend, it's its own creation. And in some ways, I could almost feel like, you know, I've stepped into the Game of Thrones, you know, with the mystical creatures and the backstabbing politicians and the fact that you can't trust everybody. Definitely.
So, talking of Game of Thrones, there's somebody from Game of Thrones in this, isn't there?
That's right. I think it's Charles Dance, who is a British actor. Of course, I remember him from Alien 3 as the Good Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe he voice acts, I think it's the mayor or the general of an invading army.
Okay.
He pretty much has the same role as Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, and he delivers such a distinct, clear voice. It's just totally recognizable.
Yeah.
I will say that for the rest of the voice actors in the game, Geralt he's not totally expressive in his voice, but it's just so recognizable. I would have been really upset if they'd replaced the voice actor for him.
They got the same guy, haven't they, right from 1 all the way through to 3?
Yeah.
I have noticed already that the voice acting's improved by 3 over 1. I don't know if it's just the fluidity of the way it pieces the dialogue together, which I think is improved, like the kind of smoothness of the script running.
Yeah.
But also, I think the actual voice acting has got better as well.
I think the voice acting in the game is fantastic, even from just the small quest givers to the villagers having conversations out in the fields. It really works in bringing the world to life.
So you're playing this on Xbox One right now?
I'm playing this on Xbox One right now, and I'm currently playing it on the normal difficulty, which means I'm kind of getting to enjoy the story a little bit more, so that the combat difficulty is not too difficult. Now, right now, I've been wandering around in circles trying to find clues. tracks, which, using my Witcher senses, I found now are much akin to the Batman sort of detective mode.
Yeah.
You can find clues which will highlighted as such. And so now I should be able to follow these footsteps, which...
Just truncate right here. And then there's a red thing there. What's that?
Fabric.
Piece of fabric.
Possibly from a dress. Got snagged
So
in
a lot of the time that you're spending The Witcher 3, you're going to be in this overwhelmingly huge world map. Now I'm just in one location now. That's where I am. And right now there are currently 66 unexplored areas on this map, and
Okay.
I've been here for a lot of this time.
Right.
And this is just huge. It's just absolutely gigantic. And then the thing is, I can pan out some more, and there's other locations to visit. And each of them have got their own side quests, main story missions, random drops, random monsters that you can go and
So-
hunt and find.
How hang on a second, like you go in the zoomed in mode, is the limit of your panning frame reference there?
That's not the whole map.
Segment.
That's just the segment that I'm there at.
But you're moving out of the segment there, right? You're going into another segment here. Must be.
No.
So that
But
is,
I am
that
going
is literally that orange bordered,
Yes, is what you've just seen inside here.
but you've got all of that other area.
I can yes.
Wow. I mean, that is enormous. Isn't
They
it?
have said that this world is absolutely massive. It is overwhelmingly huge, and I have to say, when I finished the tutorial missions and I was told, you can go wander off now and find your way through the world. It's like
Yeah.
you're too low a level to do the main quest line, so go out into the world. So I was like,
Go
okay.
do some stuff.
I went for a wander, and I picked up this mission. It was like, oh, my brother's missing. Will you go and find him? I was like, yep, no problem. I'll go find your missing brother. And wandered off, went into a cave. I was like, brilliant, I'm getting to explore my first cave. And I got sealed in there, ended up swimming underwater for a little while, and then came face to face with a spider's nest. Subsequently, I found out that the mission that I was doing was like level 37. So no surprise that the spider came in, one hit killed me. And then I was backtracking 2 hours worth. Because the game is punishing. If you don't remember to save and save
Yeah.
often, it's so easy to die. And it's so easy to die on the early levels as well. It will punish you.
So it's
I've
challenging even on normal.
played Dark Souls. I've completed both the Dark Souls games, and this game is giving me trouble. It is
Right.
quite difficult to keep Geralt alive. Now, the things that you can do to keep yourself alive is to concoct potions and poisons and Witcher remedies, basically, so that you're well prepared for whatever monster it is that you're about to engage. So you should always do your research into the monsters you're tracking down, and then go and make the best potions and quilt your weapons with the best substances to face them. That will give you the advantage in the fight.
Yeah.
There's also, obviously, you'll level up, you'll gain experience points, and you can apply your experience points via
You've got skill trees.
by
there,
the
haven't
skill tree. So right now I've unlocked, I'm a level 9, and I've unlocked 5 areas up here, and each one is different color coded. So all of the
Right.
red ones are combat related, the blue ones are the signs,
you? Magic.
alchemy for green, and for yellow we have just general abilities, and
Okay.
at the end we have mutagens. Now each of these mutagens you can apply to each area, and if they match up color wise, as you can see, I've got this blue one over here, which is plus 5 to sign intensity, so it actually has a knock-on effect to those because they are signs. So once you get more spaces, once you level up, then you can distribute them accordingly.
And they like power up your signs.
That's right. Yep. Of course, you got the bestiary.
You got your
As I was saying, the total character index, and of course, a lot of the information is there that's also pertaining to what happened before the game, and depending on the choices you are also making whilst playing this game.
Right. Okay. So you're tracking. Are you looking for a woman? Somebody else was.
I just found a letter in a shallow grave, so in order to progress the quest, I need to go into possibly quest items and find and read the letter.
Even though I told him I don't want to know him, I know you're not afraid of Bokkai. Who's that? But I am. He says he loves me, but it's not the kind of love I have with you. It's fierce, a frightening kind. Bokkai won't leave us alone either. We have to run. Ooh, so is
Okay.
Bokkai his murderer, her murderer?
Very possibly.
Killed the woman, seems to me. A night wraith.
A night wraith.
I gotta ask
A
him.
night wraith?
Possibly. Now there are certain creatures in the game that only appear at certain times of day or night.
Okay.
And that is to say that just like the other Witcher games, it has a perfect blend of day to night cycle. Storms can come in unexpected times, the rain, and the NPC characters will go and take refuge. It feels like a live world.
Yeah, so you're gonna cruise like what? You just go to bed to get to night, do you, or you just got a waiting thing, a bit like Skyrim?
You can meditate, and
Oh, you meditate.
on every other difficulty, barring the hardest one, whenever you meditate, you regenerate your health back up.
Okay.
And you'll also automatically rebrew any potions that you've made using any alcohol that you've got on you.
Okay.
Sort of something that automatically happens. I have found myself coming from fight to fight and then meditating almost straight afterwards, even if it's just for an hour, just
Right.
before going into the next section,
Just to make sure.
just to
you
recover
can-
that health back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. But you talk about the hardest difficulty, though. So hardest difficulty is
The Witcher games
It's
have got
something
the
special,
most
isn't it?
ridiculous, hardest difficulties I've ever come across in video games.
if you like a challenge, Witch has got a challenge for you, hasn't it?
If
Witcher
you are an
2 and 3
RPG,
anyway,
yeah, nut, and you want a challenge, should we just say what the difficulty level is? It's permadeath.
Yeah,
It's insta death.
It's called dark mode or insane mode, isn't it? And
That's
it's just like that when you got all the enemies do extra damage, and when you die, you die. That's it. You can't load a save. Permadeath. And that literally means if you play through this game from beginning to end, and you're 5 minutes from the ending and you die, it's over.
It's all
It's
over.
all over. Nothing you can do about it.
I don't recommend anybody really attempts that difficulty right now, mainly because the game is quite glitchy. It's quite buggy.
Right.
I've come across a few instances of characters just standing on the spot, infinitely pirouetting on the spot. I've also had problems where I've had Geralt, this is an example, doing this constantly. He would not stop jumping. I couldn't get him to control. And when he's in this stuck animation,
Yeah.
you can't save game and you can't meditate. I had to keep
no.
trying to pause the game
Yeah.
before he would jump into the next jump animation to actually get out of it. When I did manage to get out of it
Yeah.
and load the game back up, he continued his jumping mechanism and jumped right off the cliff face to his death.
Oh, no.
I will also say that Geralt takes a massive amount of fall damage. If you fall down like 4 stairs, you're lucky that Geralt doesn't break his leg and die on the spot.
Right.
Fall damage is cruel to Geralt in this game.
Right. So he's a heavy bastard.
Appear in daylight.
Well, he's carrying 2 very large swords on his back.
So I'm going to wait now until sundown. Yeah, Geralt has 2 swords. He has a silver sword and a steel sword.
Yeah,
One for humans and one for monsters.
That would weigh a lot.
Well, Geralt is no longer really human. He's an infertile, monster-killing machine.
Well, sort of. Like, he's kind of bred, isn't he? Or, well, sort of. What was he? You kind of, if you become a Witcher, you're kind of accepted in, aren't you? You got to go through a process.
Yes, you've got to take the mutagens.
Which means, yeah, you got to take the mutagens, and not very many people accept the mutagens, do they? So you are already kind of a strong constitution,
Yeah.
just to accept the mutagens to become a Witcher. But then that's it. Your little tadpoles don't work anymore, do they?
That's right, yeah.
But that does, of course, benefit of that means he can shag around as much as he likes, and he's not going to be giving spawn to any children.
That's part of the adult nature of this game, is that there's fair amount of sex in the Witcher games.
Yeah, The Witcher 3, they were like, oh yeah, there's like some ridiculous amount of time of full motion capture of sex.
Yes, yes,
Like,
indeed.
Full motion, fucking where they get the little pinball, not pinball, like you know, like ping pong balls on your seat, you know, like doing loads of fake sex.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that for The Witcher. What a strange scenario that would be.
In the job description,
I wonder-
simulating sex today.
I wonder if they actually got porn actors to do it.
Possibly. I don't know. But what I can say is that all of the character animations in the game, whether it's sexual or whether it's in combat, are very good. And unfortunately, you are now going to see me.
Pretty good there.
You are going to see me running away. I'm nearly dead.
Look at that running animation.
Isn't it cool?
That wraith
As
just
I
kicked
bravely
your
ran away.
ass,
It
didn't it?
totally kicked my ass. I'm not really paying much attention, and that's a surefire way of getting yourself killed. Is if you're only half-heartedly playing the game, you're going to get into trouble.
So this is pretty.
So yeah, I've just meditated.
This is normal.
This is normal difficulty, yeah.
So why is this guy and this monster you're now fighting is what, the same level as you?
I think it's one level ahead of me. I think it was a level 10 quest.
Okay.
And I'm currently a level 9. And like I said, so if you do wander off the beaten path early on, expect to run into trouble as well.
Okay. So they kind of keep you to a certain extent contained in this giant world
Yes.
by your level.
Yes. But the game does encourage you to explore, because otherwise you'll not come across hidden caches of loot,
Right.
or I'm quickly trying to find a magic trap.
But you're going to be stealthing around past them rather than taking on these high-level enemies in direct combat.
Yeah. I can also say as well that you can do a significant amount of critical damage if you get an attack in from behind. Wow, that
You're nearly
spirit
dead.
is really.
What did that magic trap even do?
It slowed it down in the spot for a little while. It wasn't really enough. Whoa!
She's called Jenny of the Woods.
Jenny of the Woods is the quest mission that I'm on. Yep.
Jenny O the Woods. Is that a bit like Jenny of the Block? Oh, they're all dying.
Yeah, she's trying to confuse me by making clones of herself. It's a
Right.
trait of night wraiths.
They're sneaky.
This one's a particularly nasty one as well. I think she's probably going to
Kill you.
she's going to kill me.
What did that magic trap even do?
The magic trap, all it did was slow her down, so that I could try and get in there and stop her from teleporting away.
Right.
So that I could try and get in behind and get some critical attacks in.
Right.
I came across a werewolf whilst I was playing previously, and that werewolf killed me about 6 times before I was like, right, I've had enough. And so I went away and I concocted some wolfsbane. I drank the right potion, equipped my sword with the right amount of poison, went in there and killed the werewolf, and I hardly took a scratch.
Right.
It went down very, very quickly.
So it's really important to be prepared for a fight.
You need to be prepared for every sort of fight that you're going to encounter. You need to take the time with it, even on the sort of normal difficulty level. You're not going to go along for the ride unless you just go and follow the main storyline, or just go to areas which are kind of catered to your level.
So what kind of difference does it make being one level under? Is it like, oh, this is going to be a massive challenge just because you're one level under?
Not
or
really. It's because I'm ill-equipped right now.
Right. So you like being at level 9, you could happily tackle. How high could you go? Like, what could you take on a level 11? Is a level 12 too much?
At level 4, I was killing level 10 monsters.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
these were only bandits, given,
Right.
but I used the right amount of techniques when fighting them, with parrying, and also with using my signs in the combat, so I was kind of okay.
Is that like a tough, long battle because you chip them down so little amounts of health, or?
It was also the fact that I was spamming food throughout the fight to keep my health topped up.
Right.
I had also visited an armorer and a weaponsmith, so that I had buffs to both my weapons and my armor for the 15 minutes I was in that fight.
Right.
So if I use this wheatstone now, you can see that I've got weapon enhanced for 15 minutes.
Right. Okay.
So there's a small little buffs you can get just before you know you're about to go and engage in a big fight. You can get those little buffs to help you out.
Oh, okay.
There is something else in this game which has also dominated the majority of my time, and it's a card game called Gwent. Now, I have become quite addicted to this little mini game. I don't think I can access my cards.
Is it the only mini game in the thing?
There is horse racing,
Right.
there is fist fighting, and I believe there is Gwent. And
Okay.
there's The Witcher 2 had I think it might have had Five Finger Fillet, but it mainly had poker dice.
Right.
That was its main attraction. But the game of Gwent
How about you take
is
a break from hawking?
I believe there's four or three factions. I
Yeah.
think you've got the north, the south, the elves, and the monsters.
Okay.
All have their own decks.
Okay.
And throughout the game, you can buy certain cards from vendors, and certain vendors, should you beat them, will grant you special cards, and then you can start building your own decks of cards.
Nice.
And I'll just jump straight into a game very quickly. And you can see that it's 3-tiered here. You have a combat line, an artillery line, and an archery line. You get your 10 cards. You can remove 2 of them and swap in other cards. I'm gonna take away my impenetrable fog and my biting frost. I'm gonna take away some of my weather ones,
So you swap a couple of cards from your hand,
and it'll
to
give me
begin
2
with?
other random ones. So the opponent's gonna go first. He's dropping a knight down.
Right.
Let's give him a strength of 2.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, you got that number on the left is
Yeah.
the score, your score.
That's
basically,
right.
isn't it?
So I'm gonna drop another one down. Well, my first card, which
So
is also
you're-
a 2.
You're both even.
Yep. Now he's just played a card which has given me a strength of 7,
What?
but that enabled him to draw 2 more cards back into his hand.
Now, why has he gone up to 10 then?
That's because because he's also played one.
Right. Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
points. That's this hand there on the
Yeah.
10. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
I'm currently at strength 9. He's at strength 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay, I'm just gonna play this one on him. Give a strength of 4 to give him strength of 4. Well, I also draw 2 cards.
So you done the same.
I had a spy card myself. Now he's hitting me with
His spy
range.
card's gives you a lot of score.
Exactly. I had a spy 5 card in my hand, and eventually I got a spy 1 card in my hand, so I took him out and swapped it with the 1.
So you both put 4s along the archery line. He's got
Yeah.
another 4 along
So
the
he's still
archery
beating
line.
me by 1. I'm gonna drop another one on the archery line as well. Now the weather cards can wipe out entire rows and reduce every card in that line's strength to 1.
Yeah.
So, but I tend not to use those so much. So let's try and equalize him here. You also have to win 2 out of 3 games in order to be the overall champion.
Right.
So at any point you could decide to pass and not play any more cards.
Okay.
But I'm going to continue to try and outbeat him, get him to use up some more cards as well, until he passes. I usually let my opponent pass first. I did lose my fair few of the first games of this that I played. Wasn't really sure what was happening.
Right.
But the more you play it, it's quite easy to pick up. And once you've got the hang of it, I think it's going to be quite addictive. I'm quite happy going around collecting all of these cards.
So he's put down the
Now,
ballista.
I have a special monster card here, which for some reason is allowed in the Northern Realms pack.
Yeah.
Now, because he has a combined strength of more than 10 on his infantry line, this card's special ability is going to see to that. Okay, I actually only took out one of them.
Okay.
I've seen it. Okay, now he's hitting me with Biting Frost, and he's totally wiping out the infantry line strength down.
Oh dear.
Now, I do have a counter to that. It's called Good Weather. And that will counteract any weather card currently in effect.
Nice.
So we're both down to 3 cards in our reserve each, and he's hitting me with another catapult. I'm still
So
ahead of
you're
him.
Still ahead, 36 to 29.
He's only got 2 cards left. I'm just gonna drop down this 1 here, just to be sure. Let's see what he does. He's gonna play it. He's only got 1 card left. Now, can he beat me with that 1 card? I think I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna pass here and see what he does with his last card. And if he plays it and he beats me, it could be trouble. It's a clear weather card. He was holding back nothing.
So you've beaten him.
So I've beaten him this round, and he has no cards left for the next round either. I still have 2 cards, but because of the faction that I'm with, I'll actually gain another card, which was only a weather card.
Right.
So I'm just going to play my 1 card into the front line.
Oh, that's it. You got
He's
to go
going-
the whole
yeah.
2 rounds with
Yeah.
with the
With
whole
what you've
hand
got
you
left.
Got.
Yep.
Right,
Now he's
okay.
automatically passed because he's got nothing, so I'm just going to play that one down there. I also have my a leader ability card, and I'm going to play that one now. And he's Foltest the Siege Master. He's really good with this deck. I have a lot of siege weapons. I used a lot of them in the other round, but he will double the score of any siege units already in play. So I've literally gone from a score of 25 up to a score of 60 odd just in a single card.
Wow.
And that is basically how the game is played. You can also win a lot of money doing it this way, to buy extra items and things.
Yeah, cool.
But it's such an addictive little mini game. I get excited when I find a new opponent to play. There is also certain areas where there's competitions and leagues set up within the world, so you can go off and track down the better players. You definitely know when you're against a better opponent, and you'll come across cards you've not seen before. And it's a cool distraction. When the game beats you up and kills Geralt over and over and over again, it's fine. Just take it easy, crawl into a nice little village, play some Gwent, drink some beers, and have a good time.
Forget about your troubles.
Forget about the troubles. Forget about the wild hunt. Forget about Triss and Yennefer and Ciri and all of the women that are causing Geralt trouble in his life. Just play some cards.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend, if you're into RPGs, you have to play The Witcher. If you've not played the other Witcher games, don't worry. Start with The Witcher 3 if needs be. If you really think you're going to be missing out on the story, I know that all of the books are now in English so that you can read them. Stay away from the TV show. Stay away from the movie. There is also a graphic novel, which is also really decent to look at.
Yeah.
Not too fussed on the story that's in there, but it's a fantastic visual piece. And I absolutely love The Witcher. I can't wait to sit and play this game. I think we might do another video once I've completed the game, so I can actually give it a proper review score. But right now, all I can say is that I'm about 10 hours into the game, and I'm extremely excited with it. Can't wait to get further into the meat of the game.
Looks really good. I'm just going to endure Witcher 1's combat and get through to it. I obviously recommend The Witcher. It's one I've been kind of sat on for a while, because I know it's going to take a good few hundred hours to get through all three of them. But I'm gonna
persevere.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down and really enjoy it, and just be like, I'm in the Northern Kingdoms for a couple of months, you know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It should be really good.
Excellent. Well, thanks for listening to us talk and get excited about the Witcher franchise, everyone. I shall be back tomorrow with Ian with another Dishonored video, and we'll be back next Thursday with another film review. And we'll be back next Friday with another video game. In the meantime, guys, you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter and on Patreon. I also just want to apologize that there was no Alien Isolation videos this week. Been really busy rendering and playing The Witcher 3. Take it easy, everyone. Catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Get well. Certainly hope we haven't lost our way. I dislike this place vehemently. Geralt! The sooner we can leave, the better. Ugh, anything for a hot bath.